Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today for episode 4, season 2 of Fabrically Speaking. Hi, Tina. Hi, Janice. Hi, Kathy. Well, there's a lot of you on here today. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Donna from Paducah. I was sure hoping to be able to go there this year. Look at all you YouTubers here today. Thanks for joining me. I have a split screen going on, showing my little cubby here, and officially have 3 cameras live and hot without having to use my cell phone. And everyone should be able to hear me relatively well because I have my mic all the way up. If everything looks and sounds good, can you guys give me thumbs up? Especially those of you on Facebook, so I can see, or just say yeah. And I think there, if you look in the chat on YouTube, down at where you can actually chat, you'll see like a face, and in there's emojis so that you guys can play along like people do in Facebook. Hi, Judy from Plymouth, Michigan. Tina, hey, thumbs up, yay! I'm getting better at this. I am so excited because I think I finally figured it all out, the cameras and everything. So every week I'm on here going, where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? And now I have a spot for my glasses. And this project was actually inspired by Mary, who said she was going to join us today. If you're on and I can't see your name, it's just because maybe you're not logged in. And if you're on Facebook and you can't see, or I can't see your face, like whoever just thumbs up Facebook user, I can't see who you are. So if you want me to see your name, then up in your inside of Facebook, there are 3 dots on the top right hand side below the image of our group. And you click on the 3 dots and then scroll down to manage group apps. And then inside of there, you'll see StreamYard, and then go ahead and click on StreamYard and give it permission to see your face. I'd love to see your beautiful faces showing up in the chat. If you're on YouTube, and Sharon, you wrote wash hands. I don't know. Is that like code for trying to get one of the hands? But if you're on YouTube and you can't see your picture in the chat, that's because you're not set up, or you may not be actually logged into your account on YouTube, which you will see in the top right hand side of your screen as well. So I call this project a organizer, but it's more of like a catch-all. And when I was at shows, I I had a little catch-all always in front of my machine. And I also had this little box that a lot of you admired. And this is where I'd put all my extra little doodads to keep some semblance of organization on my table. Because if you've ever seen me at a show, well, you've seen how bad it can get. Let's see if I can't get my branding on here. Yay! And if you've ever seen me at a show, if you haven't been to a show, well, this is what it's like. I had a little fun yesterday and added Tinkerbell to the chair behind me and put Chase in the video or in the screen. And then, of course, you'll see Bernie because it's have fun with Bernie time. If you're waiting for orders, if you're feeling like we're being really slow on orders, it's because this is what my front yard looked like yesterday morning. We got over 30 inches of snow in about 48 hours. Trying to play around with these settings and seeing if things are working. Yes, thank you, Tina. No more cell phone in my way anymore. This is a camera that I was setting myself up with before, but it turns itself off every like 25 minutes. So it's going to work out. I got to figure out how to turn that off. Okay, there we go. And believe it or not, I can even zoom in so you guys can see really good when I am sewing. And the camera just turned off and back on again. I'm just trying to see, am I going to be able to really lean into it? And I can without getting in the way of the camera. Yay! But now I'm juggling 3 cameras, so my brain is a little bit loopy. Got to remember how to do this. Oh, wow, that's funny. I got 2 of me and 1 of that. And that's because, let's see if I can change this one. I messed up on something. So much for thinking I had it all perfect. Remove that one from this. We have another shot too, so let me get that one set up. If you noticed last week, my voice would like fall behind my mouth would move and the microphone had to like catch up. So there's little quirks that I'm still trying to figure out. And why aren't you like showing me my camera? This is weird. So this is supposed to be front. I guess I'm just going to have to... Oh, I know what I need to do. Everything looks different when it's smaller on the screen. So I have 2 screens set up now. I was telling one of my students, she's feeling kind of frustrated because she's struggling to learn the octi hoops. Having a little bit of trouble juggling it. And I was like, if you watch me on my show each week, you're going to see I've been struggling every week, but I keep pushing through. I keep trying really hard to get better at this. And it's kind of the same thing you guys need to do. Dang it, I just did the same thing. Let's see. Try this again. I want to show you the other camera angle and then get started on actual sewing. Hi, Eve. Just say where you're actually showing or where you're at. Where are you at? How many got snow today? I know it's coming your way if you're east of me. My daughter got a lot of snow. I don't know if she's still doing it. You miss going to shows? Yeah, it was so nice to have you guys all around my table. I think I need to just do this and go like that. Okay. No, I don't want that one. I want this one. But that's not the camera I want. What am I doing wrong? Move you. Oh, I hope I don't do something. I wish I didn't. Hey, that worked. So that's that one. So this one is probably this one. How do I get that camera to show up? Remove myself. And now this one. Yay! Okie dokie. So here's my nice area now that I can show you how to cut things. And yes, Sharon. Oh, practice. You got to practice. You got to warm up. Hey, I have an example for you. When you were learning how to drive a car, weren't you scared when you were first learning how to drive a car? If you were, thumbs up. I mean, I had a dad that put me in on his lap and made me drive the car and fly an airplane before my feet could reach the ground. So some of you may not have had a father like mine, and you might have been really scared to drive a car for the first time, but I wasn't really that scared because of illegal practice beforehand. And but you had to learn. You had to learn the rules of the road and everything. But today, I'm not going to sew with the Octihoops. I'm going to use them, but I'm not going to sew with them. Rulers come in many shapes and sizes. And some of you may have more rulers than you know what to do with, and may be wondering even why you bought them. Or get just how wonderful it is to have a variety of different sizes and shapes of rulers. But did you know that your Octihoops is also something that you can use as rulers or to cut fabric? If you want to make a quilt and you want to do an octagon shaped quilt, the Octihoops are a fussy cutting ruler that you don't have to sit there and turn the ruler all around, especially if you have one of these mats. The Lazy Susan mat has this little disc in the bottom, a little indentation that allows you to drop. I got lights that are shining down on these. And then it spins around. So when you're using the Octihoops to cut, and of course it wouldn't already be cut out, but I'm ahead of schedule. I'm organized today. You can just slice and spin and slice and spin and slice and spin and cut with your rotary cutter to create an octagon shape. Since there are 3 of the Octihoops coming down in size, you have 3 rulers for the outside, and if you cut a stabilizer for the inside, you can use these for English paper piecing style of piecing and make a how long would it take you to make a quilt with octagons this big? Not very long, right? And people would be like, wow, that must have been awful to cut. Oh, it was just terrible to cut. It was so hard. So I use that to cut out my piece to make this little square or rectangular shape cubby. So you don't need a pattern. If you have the Octihoops, you can choose from any one of the actual sizes based on the outside or the inside for your cutting. And you can draw. Maybe made the second camera view. Oh, there's an echo. No. Is the echo gone now? Hello, hello, hello. Tell me the echo is gone. Thumbs up if the echo is gone. Yay, echo's gone. I'm thinking yes means no echo. Sorry about that. Hey, now I know I can't do that. Okay, so I cut not only my fabric, this is kind of similar to the bowl cozy video that I have on making bowl cozies. All better now, yay. It can't be back. Can it be back? So hopefully the echo is gone. I only have one camera showing. This is the mystery of this going live stuff. No echo. Okay. So some of you may be coming on or have a lag and you were hearing it before. I don't know. So, and I should be able to just switch. Why am I having so much trouble remembering what I'm doing? Oh, I know why. Because I'm not supposed to pay attention to that side. I'm supposed to just do this. I'm supposed to just switch my cameras like I normally did. Okay. All right. Talking out loud to yourself helps as well. My dogs always know when I'm about to go live because I walk around and I go, "Hi, welcome to season 2, episode 4 of Fabrically Speaking." And Chase, my dog Chase, his like ears go down and he does not like it when I go live. All the attention is on you guys, and the dogs just sit there and they find their spot. And okay, good. Thank you, Judy. And hello, Esther, Janice. I have another computer to my right so I can see better, but I'm actually seeing amazingly well. And partly why everything is a little bit different this week is because I'm preparing to quilt a king size quilt. And while it may seem like that would be a simple thing for me to do, to just show you this week, first I have to finish piecing the quilt. And I stayed up until 10:30 one night piecing, having a blast. And then, but I'm still not done making all my blocks. I'll keep you posted on that. I also rigging to hook cameras up and lights up. So now I have only one tripod on my floor. So this is so that I can be able to walk all the way around my table because there was equipment all around my table. So adding a king size quilt to a table that has nothing on it is not as big a deal as one that has a bunch of hidden things that you guys don't know is hooked up in order to go live like this. So know that I'm on it, and there's going to be another episode before on Valentine's Day. So next week I'll have something for you guys to make for Valentine's Day. And let's see if catch up a little bit on the chat. So sorry that I had a mic issue again, but we're getting better, aren't we? Hi, Donna. Hi, Tina. Okay. Selena from Texas. Hi. That's a new name. Hi, Sharon Kaysen. I know your name. And Lorinda. So another thing that I want to talk about is the giveaway thing. It's just not working. So, and I get why some of the other shows that I watch stopped doing giveaways the way that they do, or the way that I was doing it, and went to instead a once a quarter really big prize. So I'm leaning towards doing that. But today we're going back to, you guys post, like, interact in the chat. Hey, and by the way, if you're on YouTube, if you like my show and you want me to rise to the top and have more everything for you, be sure to hit that like button. The more likes we get on Facebook or YouTube, and Facebook, by the way, they put us in a priority place and more people find out about us. Hi, Creative Grammy. Hi, Sammy. Okay, let's get to the sewing part of this. I had somebody in the school today, and if you're not familiar with the school that I'm talking about, it's my Create with Clare Rowley school, which at the end of this video, there's a screen that I bring up, but you know what? I can bring it up right now for you too. Might be the best way to do it. So I need to make a better one. That's hard to read, isn't it? The second link under follow us is my actual school. And in there, that's where a lot of people ask me questions, and preferably not private ones. Preferably you ask a question inside of the topic. So all the chickens that are afraid to ask questions can actually find the answer by meandering through all of the questions and answers that you guys ask. That is hard to read, and we're about having things easy to read, especially since the foot I'm going to use today I designed for someone that was blind, and it's the Satinedge foot. But before we get onto that, so basically I'm using the bamboo batting, and if you love the bamboo batting and have experience with it, go ahead and give us a thumbs up so other people can know that it's not just me saying it, that this is absolutely wonderful. This fabric and batting seems to be connected to each other. However, the only thing holding this fabric onto that batting is static cling. So I can peel this off, and I'm going to switch to the really tight camera here so that you can see. And we want to go off of that split. We just want to be on. No, I got the 3 again. Last week it was easier. I'll get this right. I will. This one is just like, why is that camera showing up? Oh yeah, I did it again. Okay, we have 3 splits. That's going to probably be challenging on a cell phone to see, but I want you to see, and if I can just, do I need to do it here? I figured it out. No, I didn't. That's the wrong camera. Oh well. When I pull this apart, you can see the batting is like got fingers and it's grabbing hold. Ugh, the mic is muted. It might just be too many cameras for me. I might just be limited to only being able to handle 2 cameras in my brain. I don't know. We'll see. Yes, we are paying a higher amount of money to StreamYard now, and it allows me to use our cameras at their high resolution. So I'm glad that you can see better this week. So all we're going to do is, we don't have to really worry about this moving. And if you make the fabric bowls, they have you stitch across, and you're welcome to do that. It's not necessary though. If you're not going to use the bamboo batting though, I'm going to show you what you should do if you're not. Seems like I should be able to just do that. Why can't I do that? So we invite the guest in. Try the split screen again. And I just need to remove. I'm going to remove. I'll remove this one. There. Okay, so we got 2 camera angles here, and if you want to make it so that the batting doesn't bubble or the fabric doesn't start to separate from the batting, you can use our glue as well. The liquid-based glue is definitely what I did. I went all the way around the perimeter like this. And you don't need a lot. You can do little dots and then slide your finger across. I always slide my finger over the glue so that it's not a blob of it. And you can also pull the fabric back, and this is how I will be doing my king size quilt, by the way. Instead of safety pinning, no safety pinning. Oh, yay! And just do a dot. And this is like safety pin, safety pin, no more safety pins, yay. And just do little dots, and then you just gently slide your finger across, and it kind of just spreads it out a little bit. And then you just lay the fabric back down. Notice I didn't spread the fabric back down. Just a gentle tapping. Thank you for your... Thank you so much for actually believing in me on that, Judy. I really thought everything was going to work out perfect. I will get it. I'm determined. And hopefully not too much longer before we can hire again, because the area, you know, the COVID is what's causing me to have to do all of this myself. I think I've got it. All right, so you just go ahead and do your little dots. And this is water-soluble stabilizer in a bottle. It's wet water-soluble stabilizer. It's good to go along the actual perimeter all the way around, even if you're doing the dots. And that's because when we go to sew, it'll keep it from shifting at all along the edges. Isn't that great stuff, Donna? So now you can wait for that to dry. I've already got 1/2 of one started. See how organized I am? And I have piping around the perimeter of it, ready to sew on. And this is also held on with the glue. It's a little blurry. I think I'll pull this back a little. There's still stuff in the front of my machine. So I am thinking that some of you may want me to show you how we can pipe our little cubby thing as well. And by the way, this partly why I'm doing this is because the cubbies that we usually sell, we only have 2 pink cubbies left, and then they're sold out until the summer, as they're going through a redesign of this. And I absolutely love it, but he said he's making it even better. So unless you're one of the 2 to get the last 2 cubbies that we have on our site, until he has them again, you can use this to actually store your clips, which we still have plenty of. And the clips, well, they just can clip right on to the outside of this. And in this actual cubby, I used vinyl on the inside. I did that because, well, I drop pins in, and what if the lid of the pin is not on there all the way? So handy to have. I'll never have to look for my glasses again. Oh, so the lady that emailed me, she said, I absolutely love my wooden presser, but my dog chewed the end of it because she puts it on the table and it rolls off. And how many times have you guys seen me go, oh, my presser just fell on the floor? So I was like, yeah, I need to do something about that. What did I say all that time I was talking? Do I have sound now? I can test it. Hello? Is everybody hearing me now? Yes. I'm so sorry. Darn it. I just can't turn the volume down to cough. So I guess next time I have to cough, I'll just turn around and cough and not do that again. Jeez Louise, I tell you what. We're 36 minutes in and I haven't even sewn. So for anybody that doesn't know me, if you're just joining us now, hi and welcome to this Season 2, Episode 4 of Fabrically Speaking Live. Today I'm showing you how to make a little cubby or organizer for your table. And we're going to use, instead of rulers, we're using the octahoops to cut the shape. Because to get a rectangle, you need an octagon. Isn't that cool? So instead of a pattern, you just use the rulers. Or use... So sorry about that. My dog is barking. That time I actually muted my microphone because my dog is barking. He's throwing a fit. We got a delivery. Okay, so after you secure your fabric to your batting using the liquid-based glue, or if you don't have our glue, you can sew it. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll sew across, and I'm gonna split screen because that works. I'm going to split screen with, I think this is the one. Yay! This one has like a romantic feel to it, I think, this camera. And I'm going to fold the fabric in half first and press it so that I have a guideline to follow and I can sew straight across. You can press using your iron or using my presser. And I said I was going to have a brighter one, and I do. This is the Tiger. I think it looks really cool. It really does look like a tiger's fur. So I think you can see that well in that camera. So this is the one I'm going to use because I can see it better. This is like a little dark spot right there. Oh well, we'll get better. Now I have a crease going all the way down and across from one of the points in the octagon to the other. And I'm going to center my needle. Let's see if I can pull out here. So I'm using my center needle position and increasing the stitch length. So I'm going to use a longer stitch length. You'll watch it on the replay. Gotta go. I know I take a long time sometimes, but I hope you're finding it beneficial. If you've yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I hope you'll do so today, and don't forget to hit that like button. So I'm going to go from one point to the other with a stitch length that is longer, because whenever you have trouble getting your fabric to move through the machine, which will be more likely when you have batting, it's because the feed dogs need more assistance, or you need a longer stitch length. So on my machine, this is how I do it, and I haven't used this machine very much over the last couple of years. It's been fun using it. I do still have the microphone in front of me, and I am not sitting directly in front of the machine. I should be centered with the needle, and now I am. But I still have the microphone in my line of sight. There we go. Oh, that's better. Can you still see good? Let's see. Come in there. So how you can sew better is to not look at the actual needle, but look where you're going. So I'm focusing all the way here, and I'm got my, since I can't put my elbows on the table because the object is so big, I'm going to cradle, and this is what I call cradling the fabric. So my hands are beneath it, but not grabbing and not pulling, not assisting the machine in feeding. And I plant my elbows into my belly and then just look at this spot. Ignore the needle. It's very tempting to watch the needle. Oh, I should have reduced the thread tension as well. You increase the stitch length, decrease the tension so that the machine doesn't have a hard time pulling the thread for the longer stitch length. And then if you feel like you need to smooth the fabric out, it's probably because you need to reduce the pressure on the presser foot. Say that fast. Try to keep your eye there. Keep it straight. Ignore all that action going on back there. All that movement is not something you can focus on. Watching right here. And you'll just go in that direction. And now I have a relatively straight stitch, and there's no puckers on that. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go from that corner to the next. And I have the wire on the foot off to the side. So this is in essence now just being utilized like any other foot. But for those of you who aren't familiar with who I am and what I'm doing right now, I'm Clare Rowley, inventor of the creative feet. And this is the first foot that I released to the world. This is the Satinedge Foot. And it has a wire that is connected to the white guide. And we can position it anywhere we want by turning this little nut on the foot. And it comes with adapters so that it will adapt to whatever sewing machine you have by just snapping on like that. And this is also capable of being used on the machines where they're talking about 9mm. If you have any questions about how to attach the feet to your machine, these are the kind of questions that are great to bring up inside of the school. Create with Clare Rowley. The measurements, I will be providing all of the measurements for whomever you are in Facebook, as I cannot see your actual name. Oops. So if you want me to be able to see your name, know that afterward I go inside of Facebook. I can then see who you are, but while I'm live, I can't tell who you are. But know that I am going to include all of this inside of the school as soon as I have a little extra time. And then for those of you who are not in the school, know that I'll also give the links in the description below, like on YouTube, when I get around to it. But know that now that we're going live every week, there is a lot more work on my hands here. So notice how I'm stopping and then lifting the foot, just kind of smoothing it out. And now aiming here again. Ignore the sewing machine needle. Watch the area, the place you're heading. And that's really enough for it to hold. We're going to go ahead now and we're going to fold the fabric. And you're going to do this on, even though there are 8 sides to an octagon, you're only going to fold the fabric on 4 sides and end up with this particular shape here. And I have to think, because I've only made 2 or 3 times have I done this. I bring these together, so it's the flats together. And if you look at it and think of it as how it's going to stand up, that helps you as you progress. And you can see by bringing one corner together, it ends up making these two sides become one straight long piece. And if we bring this one together, and then if we bring this one together, is that what I do? I should have done another one this morning. This is not that difficult. I had no trouble thinking it through earlier. You know what? I'm just going to do what I think I should do. How many of you feel better about yourselves now that you're seeing me struggle? Worst case scenario, if you can't remember which way to go, if you put your tension on 0 and your length on 5, when you go to rip this stitch away, it's really easy. And I can tell that that is just not the correct way because of how small my triangle actually is. So this cannot be the right way. It must be that I'm doing this instead. And I will provide a pattern. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. Aw, thank you for that. Now I'm going to sew from that point over, and I was measuring as I did this last night, going 2 inches over and marking. So this is a ruler that can be very confusing because they got the centimeter mark or the half-inch marks. So I go, okay, there's 1 inch, and then there's 2 inch, and then I'm going to there, to that point. And this is what my brain thinks. Draw a line. So 0 tension allows you to remove the stitches real easy if it doesn't work out. Once you are sure, and even with a pattern, our brains can get a little muddled when we're looking at it from the batting side like this. Or just sometimes just because it's too late or you didn't eat enough. So increasing my length and decreasing my tension. And on this machine, this is the length. So I'm going all the way up to 5 on the length and dropping my tension to 0. Hi, Bob from Chicago. How much snow do you have today? You want Bob as your neighbor because he clears your driveway with his tractor. Watching the line on that I drew, so across. And because I am testing my theory, and you can see it gives me a nice corner when I go to turn it right side out. So definitely the right way to do it. Yay! That means now I should go ahead and put everything back to what it should be, which would be straight stitch, center needle position, and a length of about 3 or 3.5 because of the batting. Yay! Okie dokie. Now we'll have a strong seam, and I will reverse, especially in this spot because that's the actual corner of your bowl or your box, whatever you want to call it. And you're more likely to strain that area. That camera's having trouble. Maybe not. Okay, so I'm making these mental notes so that I can, because I have to watch my videos over again afterward and make notes. No more snow today. You only got 7 inches? I have been snowed in Chicago, so we were snowed in. We still have, it didn't melt yesterday because it was in the teens. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to skip. So we do one corner and then we skip it and then we go to the next one. And it's the straight part, and we bring the straight parts together. So Bob, what we use for this pattern is the octihoops. Use the octihoops as a ruler to cut the shape of the pattern to make this. So if you have an Octi-Hoop kit, you have rulers to make rectangle shaped boxes. Once again, we're going to go and measure over 1 inch, 2 inches, and then from the point, you guys see that well? And then draw from the point to the line. You can't see when my arm is there, so we draw from there to there. I use a Sharpie marker even on the fabric bowl cozies. There are people that talk about it being flammable, but it's only flammable while you can smell the Sharpie. Once the alcohol evaporates, it's not flammable anymore. So a few stitches forward, a few stitches back to secure both ends and sew down. So if I were to make this without my Octi-Hoops, and on the Octi-Hoop page, you should see the actual size of each of the Octi-Hoops. Remember, you got 3. So you have 3 different size bowls, and the bowl I'm making is larger than the one that I'm actually was showing on the picture that you saw as you were waiting for me to go live. And so this size here was the medium size frame. This size here, you can see how much bigger. So you end up with stackable bowls. So you make a bowl for each size, and you can give these as gifts, and you can have them inside of one another and give someone 3 bowls. And wait till you see the other things that you can do with the Octi-Hoops. So what I'm doing is I'm sewing the inside of this one, but not really, because I was going to line it with vinyl, because you guys probably would like to have yours lined with vinyl as well. Say it with me out loud. 1 inch over, 2 inches over, and we draw from the corner to the line we drew. And this pen has barely any ink in it. Can't say it. There we go. Here we go. So if you're feeling like you need to pull or push, just increase your stitch length. If that doesn't work, then check your foot pressure. Make sure your foot pressure is reduced. Sometimes you can reduce the pressure too much on the foot, and then it won't feed because it's too soft. See how it's forming into this little bowl? And our last one. You guys are quiet. Nobody's chatting. Come on, you guys. Get to know each other. 1, 2, and draw from that point. Try to do this so you can see it. So it's 2 inches over, and then we sew from the point, which is these 2 points going together. Forms the actual point that we go down to. And you can also center the guide with your needle by turning the nut on the foot. And when you turn the nut and move the wire over to the needle, then you can focus on the white guide as you sew instead of trying to watch the sewing machine needle. All right, so now, is it a bowl? We turn it inside out. I mean, right side out. And you can see, yes, in fact, it is a box. And you guys wanted me to show piping? If you do, give me a thumbs up. I don't see any action going on in the chat, so I'm just checking to see that you guys are, that everything is still working and nothing stopped. So if I wanted to sew the piping, one of the problems you have is that there's an end and a beginning to your piping. And this is where the end and the beginning are. So I pull back one end of the piping and I cut off about a 1/2 inch of the inner cording. And then and you can see the inner cording here. I think you can. And then we're going to just drop that into that. But before I do that, I fold over the fabric and glued it down so that on the right side, all you'll see is this nice clean fold on the fabric. And then drop it in like that. And of course, glue it in place. To make your own piping and sew it into like quilts, there is a wonderful ruler for cutting this and designed by my friend Linda McGee from, and I'm probably ruining her name, from Gee's Patterns. So Linda McGee from Gee's Patterns. And she wrote several books and used our sequins and ribbon foot for that. And she loves our pearls and piping foot as well. She uses them for sewing in zippers also, because it's a great zipper foot. So see how nice, and I lined up the actual seam with this seam from the inside or outside of my bag. So just to kind of give you some of an idea of how we sew the piping, this is a rat tail cording, and this is a fabric that I fold over. And see how it's perfect 1/4 inch all the way down? If you want to sew piping into a quilt, and I did have a quilt out last week. Where'd I put it? I can't wait till I'm all done, you guys. I have a rod going over here where I can hang things, and I got a rod over there where I can hang things, and I'm about to hang my quilt wall up from the ceiling so that I can roll it up and bring it down. It's going to get better every week. So if you just use any fabric, like a jelly roll, I had some jelly rolls, and I've got lots of rat tail cording. No shortage of that around here. I know some of you are having trouble finding trim. Know that I'll be doing some sourcing on that and have a sources area inside of the school for you guys so that you can find things. So let's see. Should I do a purple piping? Seems like I have a purple theme going on here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is switch to the pearls and piping foot. I hate to waste this strip for this, but it's all about teaching you guys. The pearls and piping foot has a tunnel beneath it, and it is a patented shaped tunnel. So it can sew all sizes of piping, not just one size, and I mean all sizes of piping. I've got tricks up my sleeve. How do we tell which side is right on a batik? You stretch it across the grain and it will kind of hug its belly or hug the wrong side. And we go ahead and I'm going to sew the piping cording into the fabric. And some of you may have tried this. Have any of you ever tried sewing piping into a quilt before and then it didn't end up being nice and tight along the piping edge? If you have, go ahead and do the thumbs up. And know that you're not alone. That helps other people know that they're not the only ones having trouble doing some of these things. Seems like it wouldn't be hard at all to just take any old piping, even already ready-made piping in the store, and just sew it into your seam and have it be right. But if you're making a quilt and you have a 1/4 inch seam allowance, you have to have a 1/4 inch flap on your piping. The Pearls and Piping Foot also sews pearls. You're too scared to try. No more being scared. So here we go. I'm going to take and I'm going to show you how sloppy you can be on this. Always have the needle thread beneath the foot and to the left before you begin, with all of the creative feet, or with each of the creative feet. Always editing myself. So it doesn't matter what cording you have, what color cording, because you're covering it up. Take and put these two fabrics together. I don't have my cell phone being used as a camera, but someone did just text, and I've just, some of you know that a lot of my family members were sick. And I want you to know that they've all recovered from COVID. So, okay, that's my son. We're getting closer every day to opening our new creativefeet.com site. This is going to be I think our 8th site since the internet began. Now my needle, I'm going to zoom in, see if I can get closer. Kind of dark over there, isn't it? I have a light. My needle, if I brought it down right now, would actually be falling off the right-hand side or off the left-hand side of the piping. So I need to move my needle over. And on this machine, I do have right needle position. So I just am moving it over to the right needle position. Or right now it's in center. And if you have a sewing machine like I do right here, you have a straight stitch where the needle goes up and down. And we want the needle to move over, but still just be going up and down. And you can move your needle over even if you don't know it, as long as you have a separate width dial or the ability to change the needle position or the width of your stitch on a straight stitch. Because the width of the zigzag stitch on a straight stitch, since it's not a zigzag stitch, actually just moves the needle over. And some of you have 90 different needle positions and have no idea that you have them. It's okay if you're late and I can't tell who you are, because you have not yet given Facebook or StreamYard permission to see your profile. So if you wrote that message and you're inside Facebook, there's 3 dots on the top right-hand side of the screen beneath the heading of our group, and you click on those 3 dots and go to Manage Group Apps, and then click on StreamYard and give it permission. And then when I'm live, I'll be able to see who you are. Like, I was going to say like somebody, but almost all of you are watching on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. No, you do not have to cut on the bias. Yeah, that's just the only time you want bias is when you're going to sew it to bias. Or you're trying to create some unusual draping in garment construction. So now my sewing machine needle is to the right. It's actually to the right side of the actual piping. And my stitch length set for batting, so it's way too long. You'll feel like the machine is just taking the piping from you, and you might get scared. So we want to shorten our stitch length back down to a reasonable stitch length. Sure seems like that's normal. I don't know. I felt like it was taking it fast for me, but it wasn't. So I probably should discuss this just a little bit more. Some of you have been told that you must use bias. And you're also taught to use bias binding for quilts, but you really only want bias when you're going to sew it across or around circles. So this is a non-stretch cord, and the belief is that it won't bend. But look at how this bends. I mean, it can fold right in half. Like you can make a, what is that, a 130-degree turn with it. I got to get better at this camera. So see how it's bendable? And if it's bendable, and it's bendable when it's in your fabric as well. You can get a little bunching, but that's resolved by doing diagonal clips. You may have been taught to clip by going directly toward your stitch, but your stitch is more vulnerable if you do that. You're more likely to have it break through at some point. So whenever I clip at an angle. It's less likely that your thread will break. All these little things. Macrame cord is, so you have my pearls and piping foot and you want to sew macrame cord. Macrame cord is a braided cord. It's very big. You can use it for some things, but I wouldn't use it in this case. I've got tricks for big, giant piping. Not for this episode, for another episode. So now my concern is just to keep these two raw edges together. Pull out a little bit. Oopsie. So I plant my finger about 4 inches away from the needle, and I'm just keeping the raw edges together. I'm not worrying about where this is inside of there. You don't have to. And you just kind of tip the fabric to the right or to the left side of the tunnel. So you got the tunnel here, and we're tipping the fabric so that it is more consistent on the inside, the underside of the tunnel, making it so that you don't have to watch. You don't have to pay attention to what's going on in the fabric. So I thought this camera angle was going to be great, but it appears not. I'm going to do something here. See if this isn't better, you guys. Try not to get dizzy. That looks better. I'm full of tips. Okay, so as we're sewing, we just kind of tip the fabric to the side. And you can actually go relatively fast as you create your own piping. And this is when you can see, and I can see that my needle is actually hitting the piping. So I actually need my needle to move further over. And in order to achieve that, take the foot off of the machine. And there is a little washer on the actual foot itself that slides left and right. And it was, I believe, on this side. So that would, nope, it was on the other side. So after a few uses of sliding this back and forth, and you may not even know you have that on your pearls and piping foot. If you do not, you probably have a copy of my foot. However, if you have had my feet for, what customers like to say is, I've had your feet forever. If you have the original Creative Feet pearls and piping foot, we used to give you 2 feet in the package. But then the sewing machine dealers started to open packages and sell the feet to different customers. So we took that ability away from them by putting that washer on there. It also made it easier for you guys to know that you have the ability to change the trim's position beneath your sewing machine needle. Now I can see my needle is to the side of that piping, and I just happen to be using really dark color thread, so you guys can't see. I did not intend for that, but I'm not going to make you wait while I change color of thread. So you can go a whole like foot in front of you and just hold that, and you could watch TV, watch me while you're sewing your piping. Got some batting fuzz tickling me. So you can see, and people comment and they go, I was walking up to your booth at a show and I saw you talking to everybody while running the machine, while looking at the customers, and that's what made them stop in the aisle. And it's because of this, the feet do the guiding for you. They are different than other beading or piping feet. I'm not gonna, well, let's see, that's right. I'm gonna use this, so I'm gonna go all the way down. I'm not wasting it. So you can go really fast, zoom, zoom. I could go faster if I had the ability to You have the original Pearls and Piping Foot that you had to screw on. That was from before 1994. Pearl. And it's still functioning foot, right? That's why we're able to guarantee our feet for life. What did I do? I'm actually reading your comments while sewing. Do I have enough to go around my box? I do. I have plenty. But the dilemma is, if I go to sew that in, you can see that if you drop that, you got to sew right next to the piping. So you need to get, if you're going to sew it into a 1/4 inch seam, you need to cut your piping fabric 1/4 inch wide, and it is much easier to sew it with a wider band and then trim it down than to try and actually fold over what would be, I believe, 3/8 inch fabric and try to sew a 1/8 inch cording inside. You never noticed the washer before. You are normal. Where's that wonderful ruler that we're going to carry? I had it out. I need it. I do. Here we go. This is the ruler. And it has sections for different size of cording. So this is one ruler for all of the different size pipings that you might want to sew in something with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Yes, Sarah, they just push right onto your Viking. So the last time I switched cameras, I lost my microphone, but I'm going to pay attention if it happens again. And I'm going to do it this side. I'm going to go back to this. I'm learning. Bear with me. Switching to my other camera. I should not lose my microphone. Some people feel stressed out because our feet do so much. It's a good thing that they do so much. And there's no rule saying that you have to use them for everything that they do, but you don't have to worry about spending the money over and over again and buying a whole bunch of feet. The creative feet are the only feet in the world that do so many different techniques. So this is actually harder to see because the light's on the tablet. Let's turn that off. I think I can I lighten that up a little? I need another light source in here. So I don't know if you can see, but it's just really like riding over the railroad track of the cording that is inside of there. See how it slides beneath it? So you use this edge here. And if you start by pulling it all the way this way, we can just use it as a ruler to actually cut. And on the actual ruler, it tells you this is for 1/4 inch piping. It's got gauges on it, 1/8 inch piping, so that you know what size piping that you're using and that you're getting the correct seam allowance. So you have 2 spots. So you could have your 1/4 inch seam allowance or your 5/8 inch seam allowance. This is a handy dandy little thing. And Linda is a member of the school, Linda McGee from Gee's Patterns. She's the inventor of this. Heading out for your birthday dinner with your wife? Tell her I said happy birthday. I know you guys celebrate very well together. I'm going to use a bigger blade because it was too small of a blade for how thick this ruler is. And then you're just sliding. This is the way to do it accurately without having to think. I need some new blades on my rotary cutters. But notice how I move the fabric before I move. In other words, before I move the ruler down, I make sure that I don't need to cut. And always close that blade up. Now, planning ahead and knowing that I'm going to be like inserting one end of the cord into the other side, I pretty much am going to start to clip with raw edges facing the raw edge. Oh, that's right. I only have one camera on right now. And this is where that seam is. So I'm going to make the seam line up right there. And you just go ahead and go all the way around with the liquid based water soluble stabilizer in a bottle. And just draw a line right along the edge of the bag. You can use this for anything, by the way, not just this project. So if you've ever wanted to put piping on a pillow, the idea is to make it so that your needle is consistently right next to the piping stitching line that you sewed already, or if you bought it ready-made in the store. So let's see. See what happens when I do this. Yep, oh well. So as I go around this, we want to make sure your raw edge is lined up with the raw edge inside. And you won't have to worry about keeping your stitch right along the stitching line because the foot will line you up perfectly just as you saw it did. I made the piping. So you just go ahead and go around and glue it all on, and I'm going to save you from having to watch that because I've already got one ready. And this one has the thread in the contrasting color to help you see. You can just, we're not going to be on the same side this time. Am I? Yeah, I am. Just position it like that. And I don't really need these clips anymore because the glue is holding it in place. So I'm going to take my clips and put them on my cubby that I am in the process of making right now. And I'm going to remove that because this is going to be the inside of the next bowl or box bowl. Ruler will be on my website very soon. One of the really exciting things about our new site that's about to launch is I can add new products faster. I will be providing you with a link so that you can find it though. So I'm moving my needle over to the position that it should be in for sewing the piping. And I'm coming up on where the fold is, so I'm going to use the presser. I lost the yellow presser. Even with a cubby, I'm a mess. Oh, there we go. Always close your seam rippers. It's so fun to have something just to toss it into now. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that that fold does not get stuck against the wall. And know that my foot is designed with a curved front end to ride up and over it. I just don't know if it's going to need the help or not. And if it does, then I'm ready to assist it. And if I can't, then I just lift and walk it one stitch. You like the side-to-side camera? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm just glad you said yay. And what's going on is inside of here is the batting. I didn't trim it. I really should have trimmed it, but I wanted to show you guys how to trim it. So. Ready to be an assistant, but not using it if I don't need it. Not grabbing from behind and pulling through. Remember, we're going over batting and there's some really thick areas, so increasing your stitch length if you need it. But don't be in such a hurry. Take your time. A lot of you just like think you're supposed to floor it and just zoom over everything, and when something slows down, you're like, whoa, it's going slow. Something must be wrong. But you just, you know, reduce or increase stitch length to get over bumpy areas and decrease it back down, and take your time. This is supposed to be relaxing and fun. And it is really fun when everything comes together correctly. Put my cubby back where it belongs so I can toss that presser in there and get my clips. Put in my clips. Look at that. It can even fit right there. So this is using the middle octi-hoop. So if you want to have a cubby or fabric box that fits real nicely in the machine and also drops down in front of the machine, so you can toss, just slide things off right into it. I'll give you a whoopsie. See how it's lower than the machine? So when I take the clip off, I can just go, and it's in there. We have a basket. I'm glad you like the close-up camera. I'm so glad everything's working. The brain's getting better at it. I have to remember, where did I start? There's my bobbin, because I didn't trim the thread. I'm always saying trim your tails. And the batting is like flying through the air. No whining. Those see that shows I use a bracelet and I snap myself if I was whining about something. I love the bamboo batting and it loves me. That's why it lands on your face. You should see the microphone's got batting fragments all over it. Okay, I've crossed over where I began, so there's definitely nothing that's going to make that piping fall off. You see how I can't really get it out from under the foot? You pull up the foot lever higher, and now you can pull that out. When you're working with a piping that's even bigger than this, sometimes you'll think the foot is actually lowered, but it's just sitting on the piping, and you need to still drop that presser foot lever all the way down. It's starting to look like a bag. I really wish it was lined, but oh well. So now we have two bottoms. But if we take and we insert, and this is when your brain might get a little tired. So we're going to take and flip it batting side out. And then right sides goes in. It's so easy. And guess what else you can do with this? Oh, I should tell you now because I might forget if I don't. You can make kids blocks. Because when we're done, you can actually stuff this and have an actual square. So you could monogram like the letter A and B, and you can give these to kids so they can throw them around and have little square pillows with. You can like make minion faces or dice. There was a lady that I should share that in my school. I have to get permission first. She made a giant Monopoly set for her mother, who loves Monopoly, for her family to play on the floor. And she has giant dice. It's really cool. But you could use this for that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the seam allowance on that side and that side are lined up with each other. And what's really neat about this is the pearls and piping foot is going to keep you sewing right next to that piping. Is all you have to worry about is keeping the raw edges together and not allowing the piping to come out like that. I'm so excited by how well things are going that I'm bouncing in my seat. I just realized I was doing that. So I'm going to clip this, and I'm going to clip each corner so I don't have to worry about it moving. I've been watching a YouTube host a lot that's from Canada, and I'm starting to say about a little bit like I'm from Canada. Any of you watching from Canada today? Any other countries? Last time we had people from all over the globe. It was very exciting. And now you might be feeling like, well, she should glue it, but I don't have to. I can just start sewing, but I have to think about where that seam allowance is. And we did it, we have the piping beneath. So it's this exact same way I just sewed it, except for now I have my other half on there. And you might be thinking, it's getting really thick. And you have scraps that you cut off. What do I do with all the scraps? They fall on the floor? You cut off your little corners and they're somewhere, because I was going to show you how to make a little ladder so that you can help feet get up and over bumps. But basically you can use the pieces that you cut off to help you with the Satinedge foot. And this time I'm using the pearls and piping foot. On this one, because I did not put piping inside of here, I used the Satinedge foot for this, and I used the fabric scraps and I made what I call a crutch for the Satinedge foot. You can glue it if you like. You just have to wait for it to dry, but you don't need to this time. I know, it's just very, very relaxing to know that the glue has got it all. It's all in position. In fact, you can even put a garment together and try it on before you sew it. It is so good. And then it washes out whenever you wash the garment. So now I'm coming up on this, and this is not necessary, all of that. So I just cut it off as I'm coming up on it. Or you can do it all before, which would be better because I've got the bottom, which is harder to cut. There we go. Can you see that? Do we got a good angle? I'm going to go ahead and do all of that now before, so I don't have to deal with it when I get there. All of these little scraps are useful. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, it helps us to grow. And if you've done any super chats, know that I still have not been able to figure out how to view them while I'm live. Eventually, we will have an assistant in here again. And we'll be able to interact more with you. I'm going to lower my needle and really chop that off. So definitely cut these before you get to the sewing machine. If it's not feeding, remember increasing stitch length. And I did 3 taps on my stitch length to increase it. So I just put the clip right there. I'm not sitting straight. You guys should always be centered with your needle or you'll start getting muscle spasms in different parts of your back. What I do for you guys. So here I'm coming up on a bump, but it just took it right through. Coming up on it again, put the clip. How many of you are going to make this? Are you guys going to do it? Make one tonight? If you have the octahoops, you have the pattern. Remember, I cut this from this one I'm making right now from the largest of the 3 octahoops. This is a great thing to create when you with the practice quilts that you quilt with the octahoops as well. Is that good, Donna? It's still blurry. Don't be shy. If you have a question or you want me to do something, definitely go ahead and comment like Donna so that I can realize, because I'm seeing I have a big screen that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at the cell phone screen. Do not hesitate to ask questions. I'm so glad you're going to make one. I would really want you guys to share pictures. You can share inside of my school because it's the social media platform that's private. It's just us. In this case, Eve, let me think it through. There would be no reason why you can't use a fusible fleece. So if you have what they call Pellon fusible batting, and it's fusible on both sides too, Or is it only fusible on one side? So if it's fusible on one side, then yeah. Yes. Yeah, I don't really need this brand. So Karen, have you used it much? I would recommend a polyester batting if you're going to go with a fusible. Okay, so this is actually two of these, and you create your bowl and you create your bowl and then you sew them together. So it's 2 layers, but where I reach a seam, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers that we're sewing through. And this would be, I recommend a 90-14 needle for this. You can use the universal needle. You don't need the super universal needle for this. Oh, do not sew it all the way up. I almost did. Go back. In fact, I'm not going to tie a knot because I may need to open it up a little more. I got distracted. Now we're going to turn it right side out. Oh, I did not get that far. I thought I was that far. Oh well. And that's because I had the seam allowance from sewing the piping on before, and I could see that, and I thought I had already stitched all the way around. That's why there was a clip still there. And I'm going to put the clip back so I remember when I get there. Yeah, if you use the fusible, it's just helping you to keep these two together. It's not helping in any other manner other than that. So using our liquid-based glue with any batting that you choose to use should be fine as well. Remember though, cotton batting does rot away, and silk and wool. So I'm coming up on this. Notice that I just stop and lift and walk 1 stitch when I need to. If I'm doing something really thick, like when I make the bowl cozies, then I use another. So that the camera turned off and back on again. This is so exciting. Everything's working. This is great because I can't see. Yes, the bamboo batting is what I'm using right now. It's much more sustainable than cotton. And it's the only thing holding these fabrics together is the bamboo batting static cling. So you can see I can pull this apart because it's not glued or fused. It's just static cling holding it together. Bye, Linda. I'm almost done. Oh, thank you, Linda. You're marvelous as well. I'll see you next Thursday. Okay, Mom, I'm going to stop when I'm at like 3 inches from the beginning. And remember, you should be sitting straight, not leaning like I am, so you can see better. And it's better for your body. I just said I wasn't going to go too far, and I almost did. And as you open this up, it gets very exciting. But your thumbs might get sore. This is when I use the pressers. And it's like a really strong thumb. It makes it so you can shove stuff in easier. Pull this back a little bit. Because I have issues when I grab with my thumbs now that I'm getting older. So this is definitely more helpful. So many of you watching on YouTube today, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, I sure hope you will today. And I believe the links to my school and everything is in the, there's like a little V-shaped icon on the screen now when you're looking at a video, and that's where they're hiding all the links that we talk about when we say you'll see it in the links below. And now you can watch the live chat again later, by the way. So watch this and see what happens. You have a square pillow, so you can just stuff it and have like a fun little thing for kids to play with. Or you push that inside and use the presser again to find your corner. And this one I lined, as I mentioned before, with vinyl. If you saw the episode where I show how to make a bowl cover, it's one of the episodes of Fabrically Speaking. And if you're at my YouTube channel, there's playlists. And if you click on playlist, there's a playlist for Fabrically Speaking. That's where you'll find how I use the vinyl in conjunction with the fabric. And the vinyl is something that we sell. It's our cover up. It's used for embroidery as well as you can sew with it, and it doesn't stick to the sewing machine or the feed dogs or the presser foot. You were hoping to watch from the beginning? We go live every Thursday at the same time, 2 o'clock. Except for we're in Arizona, so our time does not change. So now I need to get this all in position, and I will stitch in a ditch along the edge of that piping, but make sure it doesn't move on me. Again, we use the liquid based and glue along the seam allowance of the piping. A line of it this time. Slide my finger across. Make sure you get it off your fingers so that you don't smear it on the outside. And you can tuck and fold that fabric under. And you could hand sew this if you like. Which in this case would probably be best because you don't have any stitching showing along the side of the piping, and that kind of makes it look really cool. I can also switch to invisible thread, which we offer at creativefeet.com, and I would use the clear, and I did find it. Last week I was trying to find it. I found it, but it's like underneath somewhere down there. But I'm going to show you something else we can do. I'm going to go ahead and top stitch all the way around the outside of this now. Using the same foot, purls and piping. Because I know there's several of you out there going, I don't have to hand sew. Show me how to do it without hand sewing. This would be a good time to have a color thread that you really like. Now I'm switching to the left needle position, and my needle just bounced over. This is, it was here, And then I just went left needle position, which is a button on my machine. And the needle just bounced right over. Now, does that mean that's the spot I want it in? It really is up to you. You just got to make sure you're going to catch the fabric. And I think I could go a little bit over, a little bit further back. So a couple touches of my stitch width dial in that direction is moving the needle in that direction. Don't go so far that you don't catch that fabric, because that's the whole idea, is to close up so we have no hand sewing. I'm not pushing. I'm letting the machine do that for me. I have a little issue there. Let's see. And that's because I'm doing things live and I'm not perfect. So the tricky thing is that I live in Arizona and our time does not change. So Mountain Standard Time. How can well, it's 2 tries to say that. How can you not miss an episode? Make sure you subscribe to my channel and that you have your reminders turned on. And also the remote turned on. You do that by right next to subscribe. There's a bell, and you click on the bell, and then you do all. However, if your device is set to not notify you, then it'll supersede any notifications you set up anywhere on anything, and you won't be reminded. So I also send out newsletters. I'm getting better. I missed a couple weeks since the show started, to remind you guys, and I'm giving you links in the school each week to click on, whether you want to watch in Facebook or you want to watch in YouTube. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you, but if you don't have your notifications turned on, then it's up to you. You might want to set your phone, put an alarm on it every Thursday. And right now, it's 3:45 in Arizona. So if you're watching live right now, that'll help you to know the time difference, because we never change, which means we're always changing to you guys, which has always been a little bit confusing for people. Have Alexa. I had one of those. Someone gave me one of those Alexas, and I think that people that have movies and television shows really like to mess with you. And they have like characters that with the name Alexa in it. And it scares the living daylights out of me. All of a sudden she'd go, "What do you want me to do?" And I'd jump. So I turned her off. I do not use an Alexa. So all I'm doing right now is letting the foot steer for me, because I'm not that good at steering straight with all of this bulk either. Got my tails that I didn't cut. I'm always telling you, cut your tails before you get too far. In fact, in the vinyl on this cubby is a tail going, "Claire didn't cut her tail," underneath the vinyl and between the fabric. So a little reminder. You always search, what time is it in Arizona? So when you guys have to set your clocks back, we don't. When you have to set them forward, we don't. Neener, neener, neener. I'm almost back to the beginning again. Doing this, and if you can't sew while reading something that's 15 inches away from you, you're not using creative feet. Who heard me? Oh, Alexa. Alexa! Hey, did I wake up all your Alexas? Oh, I'm sorry, that's kind of fun. Where's the beginning? Okay, a few inches away. I love sewing and not watching where I'm going. But you guys might feel a little bit sick to your stomach first time you catch yourself not watching what you're doing. There you go. Pull this out. Whoopsie. See how nice that looks? Good top stitch. How about we can get focus better than that? Nice clean top stitch, piped. And you know what else we could do? We could put beads on the edge of that. I could just go like this and sew some pearls on right now. If I get 3 thumbs up in a row, I'll put some pearls on the top of this. Otherwise, I'm going to stop for this week's episode. You guys have... See how cool that is? It's a nice deep bowl, too. It's got some real good depth to it. And comparing it in height to the one that I did before, it's almost twice as tall, even though I used the middle one. And if you're just joining us, this is one of my octi hoops for free motion quilting and embroidery, and this is the actual pattern or template used to make a bowl. So this is the middle size. This is the largest size. This is the largest size that cut that out with batting on one side. And that is what made a square. So if you didn't know that an octagon creates a square, now you do. And if you're new to me, my name is Clare Rowley, and I'm the inventor of the Creative Feet. We also have a free online school. Okay, I'll do the piping. I'll do the beads. Twist my arm. I have them all ready just in case. Should I do white ones or should I do a contrasting color? This is why my lives last a long time. Every time I add another thing to the end of one of my live sessions, I remember one of these ladies that commented and she goes, 3 hours to learn how to make a bowl cover? I guess I'm never going to find out why. And then she never watched, I guess. And so now you know, you don't just learn how to make this, you learn a lot of other things, don't you? That's my goal, to help you guys learn a variety of different things and to not be so scared. Let's see here. My drawer of pearls. No, I'm just going to do white because I can't find them. Except for I'm not going to use the red because that just would be not very pretty. Remember, you raise the foot when threading your machine. Purple beads. Oh, I think I probably have some. I don't have purple, but this is close enough. This is actually a definite yes to complementing this. Now I can actually put beads on this one. Never mind. No more I could. You like to learn the difference? And I love to show you the different ways to use products. Normally you buy one foot, it does one thing, and it doesn't even do that one thing very well, right? If that's true, if you've had that happen to you, raise your hand. You know why? Because they didn't make the foot right. And I designed this foot for a woman who couldn't open her hands. She had beaded wedding dresses for too many years. And It's called repetitive motion injury. If you do anything too long, if you sit like this too long, eventually you can't get back up. So sit up straight, elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Use our feet, and your body will thank you later. I go my way through the stuff that's right here to get thread on, and I can use purple or lavender because I have a lavender bobbin already. I'm like, pardon my reach. I forgot what I had you guys thumbs up about. See, I said about like I'm from Canada again. When I traveled all over the country, people would think I was from their area. Only a few minutes in Boston, and I would start talking like I was from Boston or Texas. And people would go, where you live? And I'd go, Arizona. And they go, what? I thought you lived here. You sound like you're from here. And if you can't see what I'm doing, let's see. I'll stick it on this so you can see what I'm reaching about. Thread dispenser is right here, and I have all my bobbins on top of it. There we go. I think I'm going to do something different. I'm going to put pink bobbin with a lavender needle thread because you can. Who says you have to use the same color thread in the needle and the bobbin? This fabric has all these different colors going through it. It's a great opportunity to be a little bit brave. So I have my lavender thread cone on the thread dispenser stand on one of the posts. This has a dual cone stand feature, so you can use double needles really good and not have to worry about. I said about like that again. I keep forgetting my train of thought because of that. Ugh. So now we have to decide which side do we want lavender thread and which side do we want pink thread. And that will determine, we want to go back to the other camera. Zoom on in. I'm so excited. I have that song playing in my head. I'm so excited. I couldn't zoom before. Now I can zoom. So the pearls are going to go on the edge. And you're kind of going to see the piping's kind of going to disappear a little bit. And then do we want lavender thread on top or pink thread on top? I'm thinking lavender. If you think lavender on top, say thumbs up. Give me a lavender thumbs up. You love your thread holder, your thread dispenser? I dreamt the thread dispenser. Definitely a 9014 needle because we're going to sew through the cording and it's going to be loud. I might wish I didn't do this afterward, but I can make another one, can't I? I already have one cut out. Left swing goes on the piping. Right swing goes off the edge. I'm choosing a wider width. As always, when you sew pearls on the edge, you always go wider. All right, stuff's in my way. I moved something. There we go. Okay, lavender's on top. And I'm going to increase my stitch width two millimeters wider than the bead. The bead is 2.5 millimeters wide. And you learn that by it says it on the actual label, 2.5 millimeters wide. Yeah. And you guys won't be finding rolls this big to purchase But you can get smaller spools of it, and you can also buy it by the yard at different stores. So left swing goes in the void, in the zigzag opening, down inside the machine. Your right swing's just going to go out there, and some of them are going to be, wait a minute, there's nothing there. Sewing machines can't sew without something there. I'm going to show you something really quick. Here we have our needle and bobbin thread. And look at sewing with nothing there. This is a rotary hook machine. And now I have this twisting of thread. And I can go like this, and I can put it underneath there. And I can lift up that loop with my finger. And then I'm pulling the threads through to create my own belt loops or button loops, whatever you want it to be, cording. Are you guys making jokes and stuff? I like seeing you guys talk to each other. I wish I knew what you guys are talking about. Something I'll find out later when I have time to read. So I'm thinking about creating a game that you guys play, and the winner of the game is the winner for the giveaway each week. What do you think about that? Or do any of you have any idea of a better way of doing a giveaway than I've been trying to do? Should I do that? I spent most of my career at shows and not able to use the free arm. There's just usually stuff everywhere. I am going to do that. Look at that. She's right. Look how much easier it is with the free arm. And then usually you see all the stuff I have scattered about, which is why I'm making this project in the first place. You can still see, oh, look at this 2-camera thing working so well. You don't have a thumbs up? Oh, because you're in YouTube. So down at the bottom of YouTube in the chat, there's like a face. People have been doing thumbs up. So is anybody able to teach anyone else how to do it? Thank you for thanking me for doing this for free. I appreciate that. Some people give us super chats inside YouTube. You're able to donate, which helps us pay for cameras like this, the one that's on my hands right now. If you've watched our show Evolve, you know that this is like 10 times better than it was. To go wider on the width. I'm not sitting straight because of the camera. I can't see. Oh, my glasses. Where are my glasses? Oh, man, I even have a cubby. This is the first time today I needed my glasses. I feel awkward. You don't have to tie a knot at the beginning because you're going to come back around. Wow, free arm sewing. Notice that I'm not holding the bead. That's kind of early. There we go. Definitely not doing a good job because of how I'm sitting. But I have a table that's to my right here that's preventing me. I can move the machine. Once upon a time, I didn't need these glasses. There we go. And I'm feeling like pushing, which is I have to talk to myself and say, no, 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 no. We're using a short stitch length so that instead of seeing the thread from the bead in between each bead, that we'll actually see the color of the thread. And if you touch those pearls, you can cause the fabric to gather. So this is where you guys will be challenged in letting go, trusting the foot. Don't push or pull the fabric through. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. And remember, it's supposed to be fun. It is fun. You can use this, your first thing, for anything that you want. It doesn't have to be something anyone sees. You can, let's see, what can we use it for? That, you know, the twist ties from the bread? Put one of these in the drawer in your kitchen and throw twist ties in it, or the little bread in clips, you know, silly things, safety pins inside your drawer, buttons. Nobody has to see it. So your first project, you should be just not worrying about it. Don't worry. It's fun. And we're always so worried about someone seeing our stitches not being absolutely perfect. Although I strive for perfection, I do not achieve it. And so I try again tomorrow. And this is proof of me not being perfect right there. But I'm always better when I'm sitting centered with my sewing machine needle, and so will you be. Ignore the needle, ignore the needle, ignore the beads, ignore the beads. It's like, but the beads are right there. How do I ignore the beads when the beads are there? The beads are going, look at me, I'm so pretty. And the needle's going, no, look at me, I'm scary. And if you watch the needle, you'll sew crooked like I just did, and I missed an area. You need to watch not the needle, but the front of the foot. And we want to make sure we still steer consistently in the same position. So fixating something and making sure our fabric doesn't do that. Tuck it under. Getting your eye fixed on the machine with relation to this, and ignore the beads. Of course, other sewing machine companies have made feet to compete with me, and they have a beading foot. You can't do that. You have to hold on. So it always pays to buy the original. Ignore the sewing machine needle. Watch the front of the foot. That's me telling me to stop doing what I was doing, which was looking at the needle. And I invented this when I was 20 years old. So I'm 58 as of a week ago. I'm now going to trim off that first pearl, or last. Cut my tail. Yay. I'm learning how to cut my tails. So if you try sewing without any fabric on a machine that's not a rotary hook, there is a chance of getting a bird's nest or a mess. But it's only if you don't hold on to the threads properly. And you got to remember, even though there's nothing beneath the foot, you still have to lower it. Still a young pup. Thanks, Linda. Okay, coming up here on the end. Do not watch the needle. Watch the front of the foot. Watch the front of the foot. All those years it shows me saying that over and over again. You all thought I was doing it for you, but I'm doing it for me. And when I'm all by myself, I say, watch the front of the foot. Watch the front of the foot. Because I have that same tendency to be distracted by the needle. Now I want to make sure that I don't end up with a space between the pearls. So I'm going to go a little closer. And now see. Actually, I'm just going to widen. Do it right. I should have cut it off right then because I had that opportunity. You can always cut one pearl off. Now I moved it and my thread is loose. And you might go, oh no, like, start all over. You just pull the thread back to the spool. Okay, so what I'm doing is grabbing my thread and just kind of pulling it back toward the spool, and it tightens the thread back up at the needle so that you can continue. But I think I still need to chop one pearl off. Definitely do. And when I get to the end bead, I'm going to shorten my stitch length down to a short stitch length. So that last pearl doesn't wobble around on the end. And you'll do the same thing shorter on that first pearl as well. And then no one will know where you started or stopped. And then you can use a straight stitch and sew a couple stitches and then lift and move it back and sew a couple stitches, and that's going to tie it off. And that's my beginning, which no one would notice because they'll be like, how did you put those beads on the edge of that piping? So you can see that's the best side. Oops, sorry, it's all out of focus. And this is one of the techniques in my Creative Feet technical guide and workbook called beaded piping. And now you can see how it's done. A lot of people assume that the piping has the dot before you sew it in, but now you know it doesn't, because a lot of you don't know that you can sew something right on the edge, and even though the fabric is not beneath, when the needle swings down and falls into the zigzag opening, everything is fine. Okay, this is the last segment here of question. Give you about a few minutes of questions, and then I'm going to end this week's session. And I can, let's see. I'm glad you think it's cool. Oh, Pearl, you're saying hi to Better Days. You guys starting to know each other. This is good. This is what the school's all about. You guys are supposed to be like hanging out in the school and getting to know each other. Problem is if Better Days isn't Better Days in the school, then you'll have trouble finding each other. So these are not just organizers for your sewing, but a great gift. You could throw a bunch of Hershey's Kisses in that and give one of these for Valentine's Day and not have to have a Valentine themed gift. And they nest within another perfectly, just as the octahoops nest within one another perfectly. I hope you enjoyed learning how to use your octahoops to be a template for cutting out and making a square fabric bowl cozy or organizer, and that you will be brave and put the feet on the machine. This is the first time I showed you how to sew two fabrics together using the pearls and piping foot, and using piping to be more accurate in your seam allowances seems crazy, but it actually does make it easier for you. So if you want to incorporate piping into a quilt, as I did on last week, I had a quilt hanging right here, and it had piping all along the seams. And I was going to show it to you, but is it here? I don't know where I put it. But the cameras are better this week. Eventually I'll have everything in such a way that I can grab out a sample and not look like I don't know what I'm doing in my own studio with you guys. Why are comments floating all around? I keep clicking. It's very weird. So if it seems like I'm delayed on responding to you, it's because it's not scrolling all by itself. I expect for you guys to share pictures either in my Facebook group if you're a Facebooker, or to join the school and show your pictures. It's time for you guys to stop hiding and start showing the other students what you got, and know that people love you. They love each other. Everyone's not judging. It's a group of people that are supporting one another to become better at sewing. Yes, the videos are stored on my YouTube channel. If you're on my YouTube channel, there's a playlist. So when you see the header, there's words below the header, and one of them is playlists, and you click on that. And there is a Fabrically Speaking Live playlist. Know that I'm also going to be editing some of these videos and chopping them up and having little clips as soon as we have time. Once the next version of creativefeet.com launches, a lot of new things will start to come out. And as promised, by summer, the Creative Feet extensive course will begin. A monthly course that you pay each month to learn an extensive amount of information of using the Creative Feet, because they can do well over 300 different things. That's only 3 feet. They fit all machines, capable of doing over 300 things. You don't need almost any of the feet that came with your machine or that you might be tempted to buy. There's very few that I continue to use. As I showed you one, which is the buttonhole foot. I love the buttonhole foot. You're welcome, everybody. I love you guys so much. I really do. I hope you know that. And I'm super excited on the new camera setup working. Now if my brain can catch up, I can really start teaching you some things. The Pearl, you have one machine that brother had an issue with. And that is the sewing machine itself has a flaw. It was the beginning of automatic embroidery. And the 8500D, I actually own one of those machines because of the issue. So it's trying to, and a lot of you don't know this. I thought I was going to end. I was almost ending. I could hear the drum roll going to doom, doom, we're done. But not. So if you have an embroidery machine, and the 8500D is an embroidery machine, and when you hook the hoop on, and you put an embroidery design in the machine, when the hoop moves up, the tension changes, and when it moves down, the tension changes, and when it moves over, the tension changes. And with the 8500D, they really just, they struggled with getting the computer tension to work correctly. People have used it with the 8500D successfully by first, do not tell it that you're using a free motion foot. So, and then don't use a free motion foot. And if you take your thread up through the thread dispenser and then go up and over one of the posts, it kind of helps to stabilize the tension. But that is what's one of the things that is different. Now that you know she's talking. Okay, so yeah, sewing machine companies. Sewing machine companies are not the smartest people. There's a Bernina 730 from when I started in the industry. And there's a new Bernina 730. And there's a Bernina 830. And there's a Brother 8500D from way back when they first started doing embroidery machines. And now there's the 8500 Dream. So there's only one machine that has an issue that I'm talking about. And that is that machine, the old Brother. As you're watching me use Brother machines, even though they're baby lock, because Brother makes baby lock. The extensive class will open in summer or sooner. And then when you go into the school and you see it and you click, you're on a wait list. And as soon as I start getting ready, I'll be sending out private emails letting you all know. Because I'm able to email you all and go, hey, guess what? Next week, we start going. And there'll be videos that are already pre-recorded and a live session with me. So it's when it's extensive, it is kind of like this, except for you guys are inside of the school as well, using either Zoom, or we may be using a new additive to StreamYard, which I'm hoping for, because if I understand correctly, StreamYard is an American company. So always trying to keep you guys safe and your data safe, and get you running those sewing machines that you paid all that money for. You can do it. Let's see, do I still have that thing in there? I don't. The only thing holding you back is you. The step one is you have to believe that you can do it. Step two, you have to have the desire to do it. So if you do not desire one of these for yourself, but you liked the idea of putting chocolate kisses in this and giving it to maybe a little cutie pie girl in your life, or put marbles in it for a boy and make it out of boy fabric, or put dog biscuits in it for your puppy and it becomes the treat bowl. If you need to make it for someone else, for you to desire enough to make it, maybe that is what is needed sometimes. We just don't care as much about ourselves as we do for other people. I'm thinking that this is going to be a great addition for my bathroom, for inside of my drawer where everything is just strewn about. And I can make a whole bunch of these. And since I lined it with vinyl, I can like really organize my drawers. And then if I need to bring out something to work with, I take it out of the drawer and then I can put it right back in. Because I love everything in its place, even though it's rarely in its place on my set. Isn't it a great gift? I think so too, Sandy. And Sandy, you won a prize. I have reached out to you in the school. I emailed you using the email from last week. You were last week's winner. So I don't know if you're trying not to get the prize or if you're not seeing them, but you need to reach out to me at info@creativefeet.com. I also mentioned it on the newsletter. Each week when you get a new newsletter from me, I say the winner for last week's prize. So that way you guys know there's actual winners and I'm not just saying it. I don't know what I said that you're interested in getting, Sharon. Interested in getting one, but you don't have one. I'm not sure what it is. The medium basket. This is the medium basket. So the other smaller one would even be smaller. And I'm going to make one. I was hoping to have all of them today before this class started, but there's always way too much to do every day. And now we don't even take calls or do any work at all on Thursdays, because I'm better at teaching you if I don't have a bunch of things on my mind. So until we have COVID under control or I have someone that I can, whatever, we're working on making it so my workload is less. Until then, Thursdays, we're in essence closed at creativefeet.com and we are only live. Okay, Sandy, I expect you to actually reach out. I want to give you these gifts. So info@creativefeet.com. Put your phone number in there. I'm thinking you're already on our customer list, but I can't assume it. And here, all I see is your name. So you entered the drawing, and the email that you provided for the drawing last week is what we used. For those of you who are wondering why I'm not giving you an email this week for the drawing, we're doing it the old school way again. And I'm probably going to stop doing a weekly giveaway and instead do a big prize at every quarter. So we'll see. And or have a game that you guys play at the end to keep you watching all the way to the end. And whoever wins that game, I don't know. It's trying to make it fair. And we're going to be I'm designing some shirts fun things. Instead of it all being sewing gifts, we'll have like a gift. I don't know. We're coming up with some ideas. If you got any ideas, don't hesitate to write them in the comments. I would love if you have like another YouTuber that you love and they do something like give things away and they have a way of doing it where people aren't feeling like they're not treated fairly because their internet speed isn't as fast as someone else's. And we just want to make sure everybody's as happy as possible. Yes, you can watch all of my live videos almost immediately after I'm off. It'll be back up on Facebook. If you're inside of my group, you'll be able to see it. It may take them a little while because the longer I go, the longer it takes them to finalize the video. But on our YouTube channel, it's almost immediate now. And you can watch the live chat as well, which does change the direction of my videos and make them take longer sometimes. It's cocktail time in Paducah. You always need sewing goodies. Yeah, so this week's prize will be given out. We go through and it gets tallied up based on your activity, how many thumbs up, if you shared it. Sharing is required. Sharing today's video on your Facebook page or from YouTube to some other source, because you do have the ability to share. We're also thinking about you guys taking selfies of the prizes as well and sharing them on other social media. It's really up to you as to where you watch. If you are fond of Facebook and you are in there a lot and you haven't already joined and if you have joined and you're waiting for being approved, I do have a private group in Facebook where I interact with you. My school is the best place to follow me. Let me put that, and I'll give you a link to it right now. It's easier for me to communicate with you using my school as well, and it's Create with Clare Rowley, and it's part of the Mighty Network. Why didn't it go there? It's a lot to ask a computer to be live like this and then to also work on other things, so bear with me. Live is awesome because I don't have to edit it. So I'm producing a lot more data or a lot more content for you because we're going live. And it may seem like a run-on sentence because I'm on here sometimes for 3 hours. Going back afterward and trying to figure out how to find things is problematic. Simply because they're long. That's why I have a Creative Feet technical guide and workbook and a 2-hour instructional video so you can get right to the point of what it is you're trying to learn. The heck? Did I click on something else? I must have. Here we go. So this is my school. This is the best place to interact with me. And they don't do live video in here, so I can't go live in my school. I would love to be able to do that. Things are changing. There's going to become more and more opportunities for us to be live on different platforms, and I'm just fine-tuning everything. At some point, we're going to hopefully be on Instagram live as well. My daughter is pushing me to get better at Instagram. Right now, I'm very challenged by it. You didn't get the newsletter? What's the matter, Tinkerbell? What? You can get up there, can't you? I moved things around. Apparently, I messed up her staircase. Oh, no, you're not going to whine until I do it, are you? Of course I am. My name's Tink. I know what I'll do, because I don't like standing up and making you stare at nothing. So for those of you who missed it, this is what my booth looked like at shows. Where are you? What's the matter, honey? Oops. I didn't have things lined up right. I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. I messed up a perfect thing. There we go. Maybe? All right. Oh my goodness. What a mess. Well, I hope you got a giggle from that. I figured everybody was putting Bernie everywhere. I may as well put Bernie in my booth with me. Our video has been around a long time. Oops. Yep, Bernie shows up. I clicked on you twice. This is what I'm trying to do. Okay. Oh, what now? Where are you? What? Where's the dog? Instead of where's Waldo, where's my itsy bitsy little... I think Chase must be in her way again. It's like she tells on him. Chase is in my way. He won't move. Okay. And this is a dog that will not make a sound if she has to go out for potty. But if she can't get up somewhere because the stairs are blocked or Chase is in her way, she becomes very obnoxious. So if you have a video, if you have our video, that's how long it's been around. We have it on other... Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully everything goes well. I don't know if I can do this. I will try. At least now I can actually see because I have a computer set up. I can see what you see. That's my website right now. And you'll see books and videos. So you click there. And I think you'll be very excited to see that the book and video are now on USB sticks. That means you can bring them into your computer. And it is you could get the DVD if you want, if you have a DVD player. However, if you have a DVD player, you can't take the disc, even though you can insert it into a computer DVD player. You can't take the video off of it and install it into your computer and then watch it virtually without your DVD player. So the best method or the best format is the USB stick. Oh gosh, dog. Tinkerbell. I have to ignore her, and I just can't. I can't ignore her. She's too cute. Where are you? Is he really in your way? Come here. Come here. Chase, move. There. Now go by. I think, you know what it is? They're saying, it's time for you to stop this show. They do this every Thursday at usually they wait 5, no later than 5 my time. And they'll be like, you have got to end this show now. So the book, and we don't really have really good example of the book, and I don't have it in here, but it's like a cookbook. And you write in what we've got shown here. No, our next website's going to be much more informative. But this is a binder if you want to buy it on a binder, or you can get your own binder, print out the book, add it, and then also have the book on your computer screen as a PDF file, which is the best because then you can actually carry it to the store in your cell phone and read the PDF file on any device that you have. However, a lot of people do like to buy the book printed. I understand. There's nothing like a book in your hand. And in the videos area, and we will be doing this with other things, quote by video, is the video on my YouTube channel, but people buy this flash drive so they have it, so they don't have to try to find it when you go to our YouTube channel, which is found at the bottom here on our social media bar. This site is changing. It could be as early as next week that the site will be changing and becoming much better. Can't wait. This is Stupendous Stitching, and this is a book written by Farrell Waugh. And it's a great way to learn to use your sewing machine as well as pearls and piping foot. So she used my pearls and piping foot for that book. She's also a teacher on craftsy.com. And I met her at a show. She came up and introduced herself to me and handed me her book and said, I wrote a book on your foot. Here you go. So it's a very popular book. And she's a lovely person. Then there's How to Paint Your Sewing Machine. That is right now only on DVD. However, we are opening up in the school a How to Paint Your Sewing Machine video course. And I will be in there doing extra stuff in addition to the fact or in addition to you being able to watch the current video through the school using private links on our YouTube channel. And it all sounds very confusing if I talk too fast about it. The newsletter link is right here. If you have not a link or newsletter yet, you can see our recent newsletters listed below. Know that we may have to have you guys create new accounts on our new website that's launching. We're trying our best to not have that happen. Used to be we were at shows all the time. And I'll probably still have shows and events section. You guys in person. And we'll have events, virtual events, which will also be scheduled in in the school. Product categories, we've got special packages if you don't already have the creative feet, and now you can see that not just normal feet, these 3 feet can do over 300 things, of which I only published enough for you to learn 88 things. So these are the special educational specials. And the book is written like a cookbook, so you don't actually have to study it or learn it. And then the video is like me cooking it. So I think I should exit there. Remove. Oh, I just added myself back in again. I think I need to end this. Let's see. How do I undo what I'm doing? StreamYard and stop sharing. Boy, there we go. Excuse me. Oh, I had that up all that time. You can't find the book. I'm sorry you can't find your book. You're not the only one. Good night, everybody. I think it's time for me to end. I know it's time for me to end. Know that I will do my best to go through all the messages and see if I can't answer any questions that I did not address on the live feed. And a lot of times, if you're watching this and it's already happened, you are in the past. And this is episode 4, season 2 of Fabrically Speaking Live. Airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can search to find out what time is it in Mountain Standard Time so you know what time to watch, or go into our YouTube and make sure you get notifications turned on, subscribe to our channel, and or in our YouTube or our Facebook group. Also, turn on your notifications. Make sure you have all of them turned on, or you won't get notified when we go live. Sometimes we just pop up on your screen because Facebook likes it when you like things and thumbs up things and heart things, and then they share our videos with people who like sewing and help other people to discover that we exist and that there's easy ways to do things. And it just warms my heart to know that I've helped so many of you sew better and easier. And I hope that you're enjoying my new show, which, even though we're in season 2, is it's not like we were a whole year before this. It's nice to see you too. I'll find out who you are when I end. And I'm going to go eat dinner because that's what I do after this. I can't cook for myself or anything. I get exhausted. Yeah, you guys get to know each other in the school. It's a fun place to hang out. And you're already starting to know each other in the feed. I love that. Let me get ready. How do I get ready? Yeah. The brain is stalled on me because I have 2 screens up. I sure do enjoy the fact that you enjoy seeing me. I love you guys so much. You have no idea. And with that, I am going to end this session. I love you so much. Make sure you follow me every which way you can, and I will see you next Thursday. And this video was inspired by one of you making a comment. So please comment, send me emails. I prefer you do it in the school. There's just so many of you. It's better to have you all in one spot inside of the school, posting publicly so other people benefit from your question and my answer. It doesn't only go to you, but it's shared with everyone who has a similar interest as you. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.